G'day everyone, this is a run-on video from the last one, which was how to list your guitar pedals on eBay. Some tips we went over. In this video I'm going to be talking about my opinion, right? And that's all it is, it's just an opinion on what you should and shouldn't sell as far as guitar pedals go. And I've said in the past on the forums that my opinion is probably going to be more liberal than most people's as far as what I think I can sell and what I think I can't sell. As far as I'm concerned, we'll talk about that in a moment actually. I'm not going to talk about legalities because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not even going to touch that. I'm just going to talk about my opinion, my ethical opinion on selling clones, and what I think you can and can't do, and also just some tips on if you want to start selling your own pedals, how you go about it. So the first thing I want to say is that if I didn't sell, I haven't sold a huge amount of pedals, like I said in the last video, probably 20 or 30 pedals, but if I hadn't started selling those pedals, I wouldn't have gained as much experience, because when you build a pedal to sell, when I build a pedal to sell, I put a hell of a lot more effort into the details than I do when I build one for myself. I don't care what it looks like on the outside. Generally, I can do a half-assed job, doesn't matter. As long as it sounds okay, even if it's unreliable, I don't care. I can fix it. But when I sell a pedal, I try and make sure it's as rock solid as I possibly can. So I've gained experience from selling pedals. That's a big positive as far as I'm concerned for selling pedals. You gain experience. And it's if you have a really strong opinion against selling pedals, you don't get any of that experience because you don't build them to sell and you don't push yourself to make a solid product. So in saying that, there aren't too many pedals out there that I don't have an issue with cloning and building. That when you look deeply into these guitar pedals, the way that the guitar pedal effects are made, you start to realize that it's been a slow evolution. There aren't too many new ideas that appear, big global, changes that pop up in the guitar pedal world. They're often only small, and even the big changes that happen, there's usually more than one mind involved in creating that change. And I don't think that any one person, this is the statement, can claim ownership on any one circuit. You can claim ownership on a name, as far as I know, but not on the circuit. And see, we're sort of drifting into the legal side of things here, because I mean it's difficult to talk about what you should and shouldn't clone if you're not going to talk about the legal side of things, right? So I'm not giving legal advice here. It's just my opinion, right? I don't have an issue in cloning anything for sale. In fact, I'd go as far as saying that if you could be bothered going to all this work, right? I've got this pedal that I showed in the last video on eBay for 90 bucks, and I don't even think that I'm going to get that for it, right? It may be even a little heavy-handed. Look at the work that's gone into designing the board, soldering up the components, laying everything out neatly, spraying the box, putting on the stickers, doing all this sort of stuff. I mean, stickers, that's a pretty half-assed way of labeling it. A lot of people actually do silk screens and all sorts of other fancy stuff, take a lot longer. But I don't even think that I will get $90 for it. If you could be bothered going to all that effort to get 90 bucks to make, what, $45 profit, half maybe, if you're lucky, maybe 50 bucks profit, then I think that you should go for it, because you'll get a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge out of it as well. And that's more important than any other bit of legal BS that's floating around out there in the internet. Do it because you want to gain experience. That's really the moral of the story here. One thing I should mention though, if you're building off a fabricated board, you need to check with the fabricated board maker. So like for instance, if you're using my Hydra Fuzz, you need to check with me if it's okay to build a pedal to sell, because that board is their design, and this is again going into legal issues. It's their design, and you need to check with them what you can and can't do with them. I'll just say now, I'm way open with this stuff. I don't care what people do with my boards. As long as they buy them from me, I don't care. I've got no problem with people buying my boards to do like small runs, like, oh, I might build 5 tone benders, you know, and sell them on eBay. Go for it, I don't care. A lot of other PCB makers feel the same, but you need to check with the other people to make sure that they're okay with it as well. There can be legal issues with that one, I believe. Again, I'm not going on the legal side of things, but I think there can be legal issues. So how can you start building pedals to sell? A couple of quick suggestions. You can build for friends or family, and just say, look, I'm going to build 2, give me $40 and I'll make one for you as well, and give it to them at cost. You get the experience of building to sell, and what you need to do to support the product as well, so you can get an idea of what's going to be involved. Or build one for yourself, put it on eBay and sell it for double the cost so that you pay for yours. That's actually quite a common way of going about it. Or just build a small run if you feel that you've got your experience is good enough, and you can do a small run of 5 pedals, put them on eBay, make a few bucks. I mean, you're going to be spending, you know, if it was me and I was putting in as much effort as I can to make the product as good as I can, I'd probably put maybe 1 to 2 weeks every night after work to build 5 excuse me, to build 5 pedals. So there's a lot of work involved. You know, you've got to make sure that the money that you're going to get out of it is going to be worth the time you put into it. I think the experience is probably worth more than anything else that you get from it. But you want to make a few bucks on the side as well. Otherwise, it's, you know, if you're just selling them at cost, it's quite heartbreaking selling a guitar pedal at cost. I've done that before in the past. A couple of pedals I couldn't get rid of. I had to sell them at cost, and you know, it's quite discouraging. So anyway, that's just a quick look at ethically how I feel, my opinion, no one else's, my opinion on selling clones on eBay. You should really try and put your own signature on the thing that you're selling as well. Particularly if you're designing a pedal yourself, you want to put your own signature on it. Fix a few things that the original didn't have. Add a few features that the original didn't have. Make it personal to you. You know, your own sort of your own spin on that sort of effect. Because if you just smack out a clone that's exactly the same as one that's already on the market, you know, there's not really much personality going on with it. It's just a straight up clone. So, you know, try and add some sort of, you know, like if it doesn't have a tone control, whack a tone control on it. If it's an old effect, it doesn't have, you know, the pull down resistors, they're easy enough to put on. Whack those on. Reverse polarity, maybe a charge pump if it's a fuzz pedal. Maybe increase the gain range, or change one of the low pass filters. I mean, these are all really easy mods that you can do. Input output caps, that sort of stuff, and get it sounding the way that you want it. And then you can, when you sell it as well, you can put on, like I said in the last video, you can put on there, I've done this, I've done that, I found this better, I found that better, etc., etc. So ethically, as far as I'm concerned, as long as you and I are getting better at building our own pedals, I don't really care what I personally sell as far as a clone goes. I try and personalize it, as I just said, but generally I just build and sell whatever I want to build and sell. It's a hobby. I'm not going into mass production, not building 1,000 pedals. I'm only building the odd one here and there to sell anyway. If you're building 1,000 pedals, you want to make sure that your layout's good, and that you definitely want to make sure that you've got your own twist on the effect properly. But you're probably not going to be watching this video if you're building that sort of volume anyway. So anyway, thanks for watching, and go out there, build some pedals, and have fun, because that's what the hobby's all about. Thanks for watching.